Okay, I am delighted to say I am joined by Marina Barry, one of the members of that great Kerry football team that won 9 All-Ireland titles in a row. Marina, you were just saying there a few moments ago that you were surprised to learn that it's 40 years since the beginning of that run.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a bit of a phone call today to say, would I like to maybe speak because it's 40 years, and I didn't realize it was that long ago. I suppose you just think that it's maybe 25, 30
Yeah.
years. But yeah, it's that long since we started the journey of the 9 in a row, and 82 to 1990. Then we took a gap of 2 years to 93 for the 10th. So yeah, all good. Still here, still trying to kick around a little bit myself. Still enjoying it. The group are a bit younger,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I'm still a thorn in their side, maybe chasing around after them. But all good, all good.
How has your game developed to this point in your life as you're still, as you say, kicking a ball around the field?
I suppose for me, it's the same thing really. There's a ball full of air. You chase around after it, but people are they're a lot younger, a lot faster, so I have to adapt my game a little bit more. But I still enjoy going to training, just being with the club, Austin Stacks, which is my local club, and my daughter is playing as well, so that's another bonus. So yeah, still a few old heads there, still enjoying it. It's a little bit faster. But the principle is still the same, and yeah, I'm still just tipping around.
Yeah, it must be pretty cool playing club football with your daughter, to be fair.
No, that's great, but I'm sure you'll have to ask her. Maybe she'd like if I was. No, it is great. The two of us there kind of won a few intermediate there a few years back, and my husband has played as well. My son also plays with the club, Dara. So we all just enjoy the community that the football brings, and as a family, we just enjoy football as well. And we always have differences of opinions on the way things should go, and who's selected and what way the game should go. So it's just a healthy environment, and we do enjoy sport in general,
Yeah, yeah.
whether it be football, soccer, basketball. It's just a general interest that we all have, and yeah, so it's a family thing really,
Absolutely.
community.
You mentioned the basketball there. I should say to people at home that we are very close to. We're in the heartland of Austin Stacks territory right here. There's signs outside saying good luck to Joe O'Connor as he captains Kerry this weekend. Then the following weekend, obviously, Kerry will compete against Meath in the other All Ireland final as well. So back to back weeks, back to back trips to Dublin for ye. Let's go back to 1982 just for another moment there, because you say it was the start of the 9 in a row journey. Did you know at the beginning that something special was about to happen?
I suppose I was very young then. So for me, first and foremost, I just wanted to play football. So our club started in 1977, so I would have been pretty young, 12, 13. So first and foremost, I suppose it started with the club, and it was a joy to actually have a team to play with, because I'd been looking at my brother all along, and I used to play in the street with them, the boys, because there wasn't many girls, and we'd be kicking the ball around, and I had nobody to, no team to play with. So first and foremost, the Stacks formed a ladies' team, 1977, as I said. So that was a huge, opportunity for me just to express myself. And I think I was quite a shy person, so this gave me just the opportunity to express myself through sport. And then from that on, I was lucky to get selected to play for the Kerry team. So in 1982, we started our journey. No, I would not have thought that we would have gone to 9 in a row, and further that then with a 10th. But the team, we were lucky. We gelled. We were competitive. We, even when we were playing against each other in clubs, it was helter skelter. And I suppose that proved in the county scene then that we went on and on. And yeah, you just took every game as it came. So the years piled up, and luckily we got the wins.
When those years start piling up and you start to accumulate All Ireland's year after year, do you start to think about that consecutive number and say, what can we get this number to? Because famously, obviously, the men's team would have had their 5 in a row dreams crushed the very year you guys started on your run.
Um, we really just played game by game. It's only as you get a little bit older that you actually reflect. Maybe when you're family too, and you kind of think back, you know you might be asked questions, but certainly for the first 5, 6, 7 years, I don't think you just wanted to play every game and get a result. And losing for me, you know, I would always, I just didn't like it. I'd always question myself and how could I do better? Right. As I suppose, you know, I am, super competitive, I suppose, really, but I wouldn't have thought that. But on reflection, and I suppose there is the ingredient that kind of got us to, and most of the team would have been like that. So, your question, I think I'm after.
It was mostly just about the kind of the accumulation of them. If you think about the number, but that's really interesting what you just say there about the being self-critical in the aftermath of a defeat, and how you weren't the only person in that squad who thought like that. It does just seem to be this very serendipitous moment where you were on a field with a lot of like-minded people who had a very similar relationship with defeat, just did not like it whatsoever.
Yeah, and we had to fight for our places, you know. So, every ball in training, in the games that you played in, you knew yourself. You didn't have to be told by management like that. You lost that ball. You know, the first ball you may lose, but the next ball you have to get it. If not, you know, get the next ball again and again. It's just, you know, and if you didn't, you were going to be dropped. So, and as I say, there was 4 teams in Kerry at the time. There would have been Castle Island, Abidorney and Beaufort, and ourselves, Austin Stacks. And you know the competitions in the county, we were like every second year. You know there were different people that won, and we just drove each other on. Even though we were teammates with the county, when we met in club, it was like dog eat dog. You know, you really had to just you wanted to die to get the next ball. You know, you didn't want to give up. So our determination, our competitiveness. And you know you wanted to win every time. And as I say, the years I didn't think it was 9-10 years that we'd won. It was just, it happened, and every game was the next game and the next game. And that's how we just thought game after game, and that's how it went.
It's made you just had that natural piece in your brain that people pay lots of money to sports psychologists to train actual teams into thinking. Like, so around that time, what sort of access did you have to like facilities and to trainers and all that sort of stuff? Like, were you well looked after by the Kerry County Board and everybody that was there to try and help you out around that time, or was it very much a player-led thing from the start of that run?
Well, you always had, I suppose I was a player, and, you know, I always felt at the time just trying to get facilities was difficult. You had your management team, you know, with the county board, but you've got to remember that the women and the men were separate. So we wouldn't have had the same access to facilities. But so even getting, you know, fields to train on and things like that was difficult. There wouldn't have been much money for, you know, food or, you know, before games and things, or after games. But nowadays, and even access to fields, you know, to get Croke Park to play in All Ireland. And, you know, when I was watching games with my dad and my family way back in the 70s, 80s, you know, we used to watch on TV, and you'd see Kerry Dublin playing, you know, amazing games, and our own club mates would have been playing, the likes of Gerard Power, Mikey Sheehy, John O'Keefe. And these, you know, they were playing Croke Park, and I automatically thought that's where we'd play the All-Ireland, but that didn't happen for us until 1986. So we would have been playing it, you know, around the country, but no place that I would have thought was a big stadium. But we got to play there in 1986, which is huge. So for me, that was like, yeah, this is real now. This is what the All-Ireland is about. But before that, because I suppose ladies football was only beginning its journey as such, but nowadays it has totally improved, and it's great to see the support that the girls are getting. But it didn't take from the enjoyment. Sure. But for me, I always wanted to play in Croke Park, so to get access to it was a huge step forward for us at the time.
86, the last time Kerry were on the hunt for the double, actually, as it turns out. So I presume that year, just because of the Croke Park reason, is that as special as any of the other years, that first final in Croke Park for you?
Um, it's one of them up there. There was one before that. No, was that in 93? 86? No, 86 probably the first. Beyond that, it wasn't even in Croke Park. There was another game that we had won the 9 in a row. So we were playing Waterford, who were a huge team back in the day. And every Munster final, we'd play Waterford. And I mean, those wins were narrow by us, but we just managed to get over the line. But there was one we had gone to the 9 in a row, lost. So in 93, we were playing them again in Killarney in Fitzgerald Stadium, and that was a ding-dong of a game. It was point for point. They were ahead, we were ahead, and then there was about maybe 40 seconds left in the game, and it was a draw at this stage, and I got the ball into my hand, a good bit out now on the right-hand side, on the stand side, and I just said, let's go for it, and it thankfully floated over. I don't know how it did, but that for me probably was one of the better games that I remember. It wasn't even a final, but it was a game that really, it was a ding-dong battle. People were getting heart. My dad was, people were getting heart attacks. It was so close and so intense, so it was, there were games. It didn't have to be finals, but a lot of the games were very competitive and really, enjoyable. So we went on then to win that one again in 93, which was the last of our All-Irelands, really, yeah.
What's interesting is that whenever we speak to anybody from the great 9 in a row teams, you're a very modest bunch, and it's very, very hard to get anybody to kind of talk about the run full stop and then to talk about how excellent the team was. So I'm going to ask you to talk about one of your teammates instead of yourself for a moment. And Mary Jo Curran is one player who gets kind of spoken about quite a bit, possibly the most recognisable name on that team. Just for people who weren't maybe old enough to have seen her in her pomp for Kerry, how good a player was she?
Well, Mary Jo was so good that she could nearly have kicked the ball out from goals herself. She could have been the goalkeeper. If she kicked it out, she then would have been able to go out, catch it in midfield, solo, do a few dummies and put it over the bar. Really, that is how good she was. She, like that, very shy, didn't want to talk about herself, but she could glide, she could catch, she was graceful. She was everything. I'd say she must have got an all-star every year. And, didn't want to know about how, that she was so good, but she got us out of trouble. Now, not saying it's a team game at the end of it, everyone has to, be involved, the subs especially as well. There were a lot of people on the panel. But yeah, if you were to pick anybody, Mary Jo in my era, and even to this day, she's one there that you put up there that was just majestic, a lady, unselfish, all those words that you talk about somebody. And yeah, if you wanted to get out a bit of bother, if you wanted a little goal at the back of the net, she could just go the length of the field and slot it through. So she is one of the all-time greats, absolutely, with the Kerry team.
I do think she's appreciated within Kerry, but maybe nationally, do you think maybe more appreciation needs to go for her as like one of the all-time greats in Gaelic games, full stop?
Yeah, absolutely. And she played basketball as well, and she was as good at that. So she kind of finished in, I think, early with Kerry because she wanted to focus on basketball as well. So definitely people do know her around the country as a super athlete, I suppose, first and foremost, whether it be football or basketball. Mary Jo is a name that is well known. Yeah.
Can I ask then about the year the run ends? Going for 10, I presume, was like this lovely round number to get to, and of course it would have taken a brave person to bet against you that year. So what did happen that year, and how did that feel to actually lose again?
I think I remember more the time we lost than when we had 9 in a row. I think we played Waterford out in Listowel, and usually we could pull it out of the bag, but we didn't this time. So I think that for me was the one that kind of hurt most. It was like you kind of finished the game and you kind of didn't. It was disbelief that did we actually lose? You know, that doesn't usually happen, but you know, it takes a few a few days for the pill to drop and to kind of realise. So I suppose when we finished in '93, a few of the team then had decided to retire because we'd been on the road a while, and a few new young crew were coming in, and they were all. I think I stayed on for another year or two, but I was based in Dublin as well, so a lot of travelling up and down. But I mean, when we finished in '93, that was to get that win was huge. The number sounded nice too, 10. But I suppose it's time, for it to pass on to move around. No, we were happy, but as I say, when it finished, when we were beaten after the 9-0, that was, I suppose, when it really kind of sank in. But we, took 2 years to come back again, and so we proved that we could do it once more. And as I say, then the team started to change. People retired, some stayed on, but the girls now are doing fine, and there's and has always been a good development of the girls, and they've been striving for years, and they were lucky not to get there a lot of the times, and hopefully now this year is another chance, and a huge chance for them to drive on in the final the 31st, I think, of the month.
When you were watching the Cork team of the 2000s then, were you thinking about your record every year that passed, or were you like, oh no, it's good to have a great team at the top of the table?
I suppose when you're looking from the outside, I suppose you'd like to see it go around and for it to be, shared among people. So when we were playing, I'm sure people were a little bit tired of us, but we weren't tired. When you're playing, you don't mind. But I was keeping an eye on them, all right, to see. And I suppose I didn't want our record to be broken, maybe. But I suppose that's a natural feeling. But no, they were a great team. They were a very good team, managed very well. A lot of those girls as well played the camogie, so that was a huge, just to see the female sport grow and grow and grow each year was huge, and the numbers are still growing, and the support, it's growing and growing, and it's great to see. And I suppose it was nice to know we started it off, from way back, and it's great to see it thrive and blossom, and the players, and it's great support and huge for girls to see people and role models that they can maybe say, I want to be like them one day.
Where do you keep your medals? You've got 10 All-Irelands. What do you do with the medals?
Yeah, I don't know. I can find about 5 of them. Yeah, but I'll have to start digging around. A few. I suppose when I was younger, you don't really, you kind of put them somewhere, or I think they were in the house somewhere. But we'll get to grips with them again. I don't know, but I think the memories is the main thing. Just the memories of playing Croke Park, meeting people through the years. Families were huge as well. My dad was huge, had a huge interest. He was very proud. He to see him in the Hogan stand after, and just the joy. He was a great footballer himself. He played with Austin Stacks hurling, as did my family, my brothers and sisters as well. So it's outside of the sport itself. It brings families, communities, our own club, Austin Stacks, so it's a part of my life, really, I suppose, and I still seem to want to continue. I was at training now last night, and I still am able, thankfully, to put the boots on and run around. Maybe not as fast as I'd like to, but
Where do you play for Stacks at the moment, actually?
I'm playing around maybe corner forward. Yeah.
Where does your daughter play?
She plays out the field, maybe half forward.
You're not fighting for the same jersey anyway?
No. But as I say, a great club. It's great to see the young girls coming along. They are, very enthusiastic, very determined bunch as well. And so we're continuing keeping the flag flying for ladies football in the club. And a lot of those girls, actually, one of our club mates, Aoife Delan, she came on and started the second half, I think the last day. had a great game, and our other clubmate Darragh Long would be involved as well with he's joint manager with Declan Quill with the Kerry ladies. So I want to wish them the best the next day as well. It's a huge moment for them. It's great that they got the semi-final run in Croke Park as well. That's huge. It was a very warm day for them. They performed very well. And Meath were playing afterwards, and they got over the line against Donegal. So it's going to be a huge battle for them now, and it's there for whoever wants it on the day. You need a little bit of luck, all right, with maybe the hop of the ball, but it'll be a very exciting game, because you had Meath, who came from intermediate to win it last year, and they're very, very strong team. And Kerry have been trying for the last, they've been trying to get back up there, have done so. And it's a huge opportunity now, and hopefully they'll drive on, obviously. Yeah, I have a feeling, as I say, two very strong teams, but I think Kerry have a good balance. They've a good mix of youth and a few people that have been around a bit longer. Louise is still flying and able to pick off scores when needed. I think Emma Sherwood has come back into it again. You've got young girls, the fullback Hayle Cronin, Siobhan Roche. There's loads. I don't like naming names, but there's strength and depth. So I think with that, I think Kerry are gonna do it.
I have to ask, do you think you'll see Sam Maguire around Rock Street at some point over the next few months?
Yeah, absolutely. Our other team clubmate there is Joe O'Connor, and there's a few of the lads there as well, Greg and Jack O'Shea and Dylan Casey, and they're all clubmates, and I have a feeling, this is it's there. I think Kerry and Galway both want this very bad, but I think class will show out in the end. Hopefully, we've got I just think Kerry footballers, and I think we just have that forward movement that might just pick it off, but it's going to be a ding dong of a battle again. The Kerry Dublin was very exciting. Will we get the same sort of game? I don't know if we'll get the same excitement and type of game, but it's there. Whoever really wants it on the day, and conditions, will that affect it? Who knows? But we'll be hoping to see Joe bring the cup up the rock and into the Austin Stacks clubhouse, hopefully. So yes, Kiri Abu for both.
Absolutely, the football double is on. Marina, you've been so generous with your time. Really appreciate you having this conversation, and congratulations once again on all the phone calls you're going to get over the next little while to talk about the 9 in a row. Marina Barry, thanks.
Thanks, Owen.